This is Johnny Maradia from Vista Solutions. In this video, I'm going to show you configuration of advanced manufacturing in Open ERP. So now let's log in to Open ERP system. So here we are in Open ERP system. So now let's go in manufacturing. In manufacturing, let's click on configuration. So in this video, I'm going to talk about routings, operation, work centers, and factory. So every manufacturing unit has work centers. These work centers are kept in some or the other plants. This plant is nothing but the factory, which is a term used in Open ERP. So let's first define a factory. So here we are in factory. Let's create a new factory. Let's say Vista. So now let's give a location to it. Now here you can see in this factory, Now as you can see in this factory, many work centers can be assigned. But instead of doing that, we won't assign work centers in this factory, but instead we'll go in work centers and assign a factory to individual work center. So now let's save this. And now let's go back to menu. So now let's go in work center. As you can see, there are already two work centers defined in this. So now let's click on assembly workshop. Here you can see the field factory as blank. So now let's assign a factory to this work center. So this means this work center assembly workshop is kept or placed in this factory called Vista. Remember, you can have one or many factories or plants, but a work center can be only placed at one factory at a time. So here are the capacity information required for this work center. As you can see, this capacity per cycle is nothing but number of operation it can be done per cycle, and this is the time required for one cycle in hours. And these two fields are the time before production and after production. This is actually the setup time and this is the cleaning time. Here are the two fields which specify the cost per hour for this work center and cost per cycle for this work center. We need to assign a product which is going to be processed on this work center for tracking the production cost for the product defined over here in the analytical accounting. So for now, let's save this work center. So now let's go back to menu. So this was about work centers and factory. So now let's talk about routings and operations. So routing is nothing but the start to end flow of how a product is manufactured. A routing consists of one or many operations. So before creating or having a knowledge on routing, let's talk about operation. So let's talk about operation. So operation is nothing but a task to be performed on a particular work center or a number of work centers. So now let's define an operation. So here we are in operation menu. You can see already an operation has been assigned. So now let's create a new operation. Let's give a code, say operation 2, op2, operation 2. Now here you can see associated machine. This is nothing but the work centers for this operation. We can assign one or many work centers for this operation to be carried out. So now let's assign a work center. So these are the work center which were defined in work center menu. So now let's select, say for example, assembly work center to this. Now you can also assign one more work center to this operation, but now let's have this as one work center for this operation. Let's save this. So this says that for operation 2, this work center will be used. So now let's go back into menu. Now once the operation is being created, now let's go into routing. Now as you see, there are already some routings defined. So now let's go and create a new routing. Let's give this as routing 1. sorry, routing 1. Let code be RO1. Let this be production. So now here you can see for this routing you can assign one or many operations. Now as I mentioned, routing is nothing but start to end flow of how a product is been manufactured. So a routing may require one or many operations. So let's define an operation for this routing. Let's search for the operation. Now as we can see, we previously defined operation 2 and operation 1 was already defined. So now let's select operation 2. Now as you can see, operation 2 has been selected. Now here you can see the field for work centers. Now here once you click on search, the work center which were assigned for the operation 2 is only populated and not the other one. Let's select this work center. If we would have assigned two work centers for this operation in operation menu, we would have seen two work centers over here. Now here you see a semi product. Let's talk about what this product is. This product is nothing but the WIP product. So as I said, the routing may be consist of one or two operation. Suppose if a routing consists of two operation, this WIP product is nothing but the product which is produced or manufactured after the operation 2. But here we are just defining one operation, that is operation 2 for this routing. So we won't assign a intermediate or the WIP product. So now let's save and close this. So now a routing has been created. Now let's save this routing. So now let's finally go in bill of material. So now you can see there are already some bill of materials defined. So now let's go and create a new bill of material. So now let's create a bill of material for one product. Let's select, say, PC0. So now let's define components for this bill of material. So now let's select, say, a mouse. Now let's define one more component. Let's say keyboard. So now let's save this bill of material. Now here you can see a routing column has been blank. Now let's go and click on this button. Once you click on this button, you can see a pop-up which asks for routing. Now let's select the routings which are there. So now we now created a routing called routing 1. So let's select that routing and let's assign this routing to this bill of material. So once you assign it, you can see a routing field is populated with the routing which is assigned for this bill of material. Let's save this bill of material now. So this was all about configuration of routings, operation, work centers and factory. In my next video, I'm going to show you manufacturing of a product in advanced manufacturing. So this was John Maradia. For more videos on Open ERP, please log in to our website www.bistasolutions.com. Thank you.